Good evening, student. Welcome back again. Now, today we will discuss about the impulse and Newton's third law of motion. Now, what is actually impulse? Impulse. It is the total impact of force within a very short interval of time. Now, how can we define it? As it is the product of force and small time. Force and small time in which the force acts. In which the force acts. Since what we know from the Newton's second law of motion, we have studied in our last lecture that according to Newton's second law of motion, we have studied that this force is equal to the rate of change of momentum. We have studied this rate of change of momentum, or I can also write it like this: final momentum minus initial momentum. Clear? Now, if we write like this, the force multiplied by time t, that is the small time in which this act was occurred. So this Ft will be equal to final momentum minus initial momentum. Final momentum mv minus initial momentum. So this force multiplied by the time t will give us the impact of the force, and that impact of the force in that small time is called impulse. So we can also see here that this impulse is actually the this impulse is the change of momentum, not rate of change of momentum. Just simply the change in momentum can also be defined as the impulse. Now, impulse, it is denoted by, or I can say impulse is denoted by capital I. Capital I. Its SI unit. Before we go, we can write impulse is equals to force multiplied by time, and this change in momentum is the impulse. So we can write impulse equals to force multiplied by time, or we can also write the force multiplied by the time means final momentum minus initial momentum. Now the SI unit of impulse will be, as we know that it is force multiplied by the time, so the SI unit will be of impulse is Newton second. Newton for force and second for time, or we can say the other unit will become kg meter per second, not per second square, because it is only the change in momentum, not the rate of change of momentum. Clear? So now we will study Newton's third law of motion. Newton's third law of motion. What does this Newton's third law of motion states? It states that whenever one object exerts a force on the other object, for example, this is exerting a force, then this second object will also exert an equal and opposite force on this first object. This is the Newton's third law of motion. So what we can say about the Newton's third law of motion, that whenever one object exerts a force on another object, then the second object also exerts an equal and opposite force on the first object. What does this indicates? That we can now say that the first object is, when exerting a force, we can say that it is action, and when the same force is returned by the second object, then we can say it is the reaction. So we can say that every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So what we can say here, that from this definition we can write every action has an equal and opposite reaction. In what way they are equal? Equal in the magnitude, and the direction are opposite, so it is opposite. So they are in opposite direction, but they do not cancel each other because of the direction. If we take one as positive, then other will be in the negative direction. So we can say they will do not cancel each other's effect because they act on different objects. The objects are actually different. So if they will act on a single object and their direction is same, then they will cancel. But here the two different objects are there. So due to the two different objects, they do not cancel each other's effect. So now some applications of Newton's third law of motion, we can study some applications. For example, we can write collision of two person or objects. Collisions of two person. Suppose two persons are walking in the opposite direction, or they are running in the opposite direction, and they collides with each other, then both will get hurt, because the first person also applies a force on the second, and the same force is applied by the second person on the first. So both will get hurt. Secondly, what we can say, that walking of a person, when a person walks on a road, then the person pushes the ground with a force, and the ground also push the person with the same force as the person has pushed the ground, but the ground is applying the force in the opposite direction. So we can say the action was caused by the person during walking, and the ground has pushed, that is the reaction was from the ground to the person in the opposite direction. Similarly, we can say for the third example or application of the Newton's third law of motion is recoiling of a gun. Recoiling of gun. Now what we can say in this recoiling of gun, when a bullet is fired from a gun, then the bullet moves in the direction and the gun is pushed backward. Because the bullet moves in the forward direction, and due to this bullet exerts a force on the gun in the opposite direction. So now we can say the action is on the bullet, and due to this action an equal and opposite reaction is caused in this gun, so the gun recoils, that means it moves in the opposite direction. Similarly, we can say for the third, next example, fourth, propulsion of a boat. Propulsion of a boat in forward direction. In forward direction. Now what actually happens here, as we have observed that the boatman pushes the water backwards, and due to this push of the water action is created, and due to this action water also pushes the boat in the opposite direction. We push the water backward and the water is pushing the boat with us in the forward direction, and hence we move in the forward direction. Similarly, we can say the same method is applied by the propulsion of a rocket. Propulsion of rocket. As we can observe in the rocket also, the fire and the fumes are coming down towards the ground. This is the action, and due to this action, the ejection of the gas, a force is produced in the upward direction, and the rocket moves in the upward direction and the fumes comes down in the downward direction. So the action and the reaction. So these are some applications of the Newton's third law of motion. So now we will study about the laws of conservation of momentum. So according to the law of conservation of momentum, what the law of conservation of momentum states? It states that the total momentum of a system of objects remains conserved. That means before the interaction or collision of the two objects, what was the total momentum, and after collision or interaction of these objects, what was the second total momentum. The first total momentum is always equals to the second total momentum. This is the law of conservation of momentum, but this will happen only if, I have written here with the red letters, that provided that there is no external unbalanced force which acts on these objects. If there will be no external unbalanced force on these objects, only then this law of conservation of momentum holds good. Now we will explain, I will explain this by taking some examples. So let us consider a system of objects having masses MA and MB. Suppose they are moving with their initial velocity UA and UB, and suppose the initial velocity of the object A is greater than the initial velocity of the object B. So after some time they get collides, and let this collision lasts for a very small time t, small t we can say. So after collision the velocity of these objects gets changes. The initial velocity from UA to VA and from UB to VB. Let us draw this figure here and try to understand what I have told you. So now, as we can see here, let this be MA and moving with initial velocity UA, and this one is MB moving with the initial velocity of UB, and we have assumed here that this UA is greater than UB, and if initial velocity of A is greater than B, then this will move faster than B object and they will get collide. And during collision what will happen, the object A will apply a force on object B in this direction, and the object B will also apply a force in the opposite direction as according to the Newton's third law of motion. So after collision what actually happens, the velocity of both the objects gets changed. As we can say, the object MA has changed their velocity from UA to VA, and the velocity of the object B changes from UB to VB. And let this collision lasts for a very small fraction of time, let t. So what we can now write here, that the total initial momentum of the object, that means this, is equal to the total final momentum of the object or the system of the objects. So we will write it like this. Now we can write, according to the law of conservation of momentum, total initial momentum of the system is equal to total final momentum of the system. Now what we get after adding all this, now we can see here that the total initial momentum of the system will be MA, mass of the first object, and UA, the mass of the initial velocity of the first object. This gives the momentum of A, and plus MB and UB. This will give the momentum of the second object, and if we add this total will give us the total initial momentum of the system. And according to the law of conservation of momentum, this is equal to the total final momentum of the system, means the total momentum of this system after collision, that is MA multiplied by VA plus MB multiplied by VB. So this is the law of conservation of momentum, this one. That is what it states in its definition, that the total momentum of the system of the objects remains conserved. That means both are equal, and before and after interaction of the collision, provided that there is no external unbalanced force is applying on it. Now we got this. Now we have to prove it, that how it is correct.